It's Bob out here at Serenity Hill. Thought I'd do a little action video today. I'm getting ready to do some more cordwood, but I am at the level where I have to do um, an electrical outlet. And my goal is I'm putting all my electrical outlets flush with the top of the wood instead of sitting on the outside. Instead of like this, it's going to be like so. Well, before I can do that, I have to smooth out and hollow out a spot in this for my electrical box to sit flush. And what I'll do is I've got several different chisels, and I'm going to smooth out a little niche here where it'll fit nice and flush. Won't be a gap around it, and I'll put some like a bead of silicone around here to kind of seal around it so I can't get a draft. I'm not too worried about it. It's going to be on the inside and there's going to be insulation on the other side, but I'll go ahead and put some silicone here. And the electrical boxes, they come with nails on them to tie into a stud, and I'll just nail that into this log, and that'll be set in so my electrical outlet will be nice and flush. So I'll show a little detail of that, but I thought I'd let you see the process of getting this log, which is split and uneven, having a nice and smooth surface so it's got a nice finished look. Now, of course, there's going to be an outlet plate that'll go on top of this, so that'll hide some minor imperfections and the like, but the thing is just to get it nice and smooth so that it can so that this can rest nice and neat and tidy and be as clean as possible. I guess one of those little craftsmanship things that nobody will see it. It doesn't make a bit of difference to most people, but I'll know it's there. So now I've already taken my chisel and gone along the margins here to create an indentation, and just kind of eyeballing it to get it smooth, and then I'll fit the box in. And that's the thing with chisels. Now, before I started using this, I used a stone. Every time before I use my chisels, I've got a sharpening stone that I'll use to just touch up the edge. These are actually sharp enough, they'll cut paper. So you don't need to put a whole lot of force behind them. Again, I'm just kind of cutting the wood there, you know, cutting the fibers so when I get down there it'll come off nice and neat. Forgot to go on here. Sometimes your ice can be one of your best tools. Speaking of ice, I just realized something. What I suddenly realized is my safety glasses were up here instead of down here, and they don't do any good up there. Mm. That smells so good. Makes me wish I had smell-o-vision. Now, I don't have a wooden mallet, so I'm using a dead blow hammer instead of a metal hammer. You can see it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to peel off little bits to, you know, I was using a hammer before because I was taking off good sized chunks, but this part of it, I'm just taking off just a thin layer. Put my box. Now this isn't the actual box, but it's one identical to it, just so I can see how it's going to rest. Okay, and I didn't, when I was drawing around it, I didn't take into account the little ears on it, so I will have to, for where the nail holders are, so I'll have to take that out so it'll fit. Almost there. I almost use my framing slick. It's about 2 3/8 inches, but it's got a long handle, and it's hard to handle at an angle like this. But the wider chisel helps you to make it flatter. And that was a 1 inch, I use a 1/2 inch here. These outlet boxes have little, I don't know if you can see them, little ears on them, so that when you put them against a stud, you can put that ear against those little ears, tabs, against your stud, and that allows for the thickness of a drywall. So it's kind of a gauge for the drywall. Well, I don't need those because I'm not going up against a stud. I don't want it to stand off from my cedar, so I'll cut that off. I really do not like cutting towards my finger. I had a bad experience with that once, and I don't care to repeat that. I've used my razor knife for cutting open bags of cement and lime and sand, and it's amazing how much that stuff dulls a blade. Okay, put it in there right. Okay, getting close, almost there. Of course, these boxes aren't perfectly flat either. That's why it's really nice. You know, the sides kind of bow in a little bit. That's why it's nice that you've got a cover that goes over them. I think they do that on purpose. Just a little bit there. Okay. Okay, if I can get this right. At any rate, that's what it's going to look like. Now you notice it's not perfect along here, but that's because the box itself has got some give and it's not perfectly flat. So I just make it as tight as I can, and that way I can position this log in my mortar so that it's upright and the front of the box is flush. My outlet plate will go right up here against it, and it'll be the edge of the outlet plate will cover right here, and then boom, there you go. That's my outlet plate. And then there'll be some mortar on top of this where it joins the next piece of wood. My cord will come up through the insulation space, and it will actually go underneath the log and then come up here. So my wiring is actually in the insulation space, just like it would be in a stud wall. But that's what my outlets boxes will look like. They'll be right there embedded in the wall and be nice and flush instead of sticking out from the wall. And it just takes a little bit of extra time, but I'm liking it.